Welcome back, detectives of the dark, to another gripping episode on Crime Pulse Stories. Today, we're dusting off the files of a case that has perplexed the minds of many for over 3 decades, the baffling disappearance of Angela Hammond. Picture this, it's a spring evening in Clinton, Missouri, the kind of night that promises the warmth of summer is just around the corner. The date is April 4th, 1991. The town is quiet, the kind of quiet that speaks of families settling down for the night, of TVs murmuring in living rooms, and of streetlights casting long shadows on empty roads. But in the heart of this sleepy town, a nightmare is about to unfold. Angela Hammond, a vibrant 20-year-old with a contagious smile and a heart full of dreams, steps out into the night, never to be seen again. She was last spotted at a local payphone, engaged in a late-night conversation with her fiancé. Little did anyone know, this would be the last time Angela's voice would be heard by someone who loved her. As we delve into the depths of this case, keep your wits about you. The story of Angela Hammond is a tapestry woven with threads of hope, despair, and the unyielding quest for answers. Stay tuned as we unravel the mystery that has haunted Clinton, Missouri, for over 30 years. And remember, if you're as intrigued by this case as we are, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified about our latest true crime stories. Together, let's shine a light on the darkness of unsolved mysteries. In this chapter of our true crime saga, we turn back the pages to who Angela Hammond was before her name became synonymous with one of Missouri's most haunting mysteries. Angela, a young woman in the full bloom of her life, was known for her radiant smile and the kindness that seemed to illuminate the small town of Clinton. Born on February 9, 1971, she was the girl next door with an infectious laugh, a friend you could count on, and a daughter who brought nothing but joy to her family. Her life in Clinton was rooted in the simple pleasures of small-town living. She was a high school graduate, working at a local bank, and was known for her love of animals, often found nurturing the strays she'd come across. Angela's heart was as big as her dreams, and she dreamt of a future filled with love and laughter. At the center of her world was her fiancé, Rob Schaefer, a young man with whom she shared a deep and abiding love. Their bond was the kind that promised a lifetime of shared moments and cherished memories. They were eagerly awaiting the arrival of their first child, a new beginning that tragically Angela would never get to see. Angela's relationships were a testament to her character, loyal, loving, and full of life. Her disappearance left a void in the fabric of Clinton, a tear in the lives of those who knew her best. As we delve deeper into the night of her disappearance, we hold on to the image of Angela, not just as a victim of an unsolved crime, but as a young woman whose life was a beacon of hope and whose spirit still calls out for justice. On the fateful night of April 4th, 1991, the small town of Clinton, Missouri, became the backdrop for a mystery that would linger in the minds of its residents for years to come. Angela Hammond, a 20-year-old expectant mother, stepped out into the evening, a night that was unremarkable in its weather, neither stormy nor particularly noteworthy, just a typical spring night in the Midwest. The timeline of events began with Angela, affectionately known as Angie to her friends and family, making a late-night stop at a local payphone. It was here, in the heart of Clinton, that she made a call to her fiancé, Rob Schaefer, from a well-lit parking lot by the town's grocery store. The time was around 11:15 p.m., a time when the streets were quiet and the bustle of the day had long since faded. As Angela and Rob chatted, the conversation took a chilling turn. Angela mentioned a strange truck circling the block, an eerie prelude to the horror that was about to unfold. Within moments, Rob heard Angela scream over the phone, and the line went dead. That scream would be the last anyone would hear from Angela Hammond. Rob, in a panic, raced to the payphone, only to witness Angela's abductor's truck speeding away, with Angela seemingly inside. Despite his desperate attempt to follow, a transmission failure in his vehicle thwarted his pursuit, and the truck, along with Angela, vanished into the night. The search for Angela began immediately, with the Clinton Police Department mobilizing to find her. Yet, despite their efforts, the night yielded no clues, and Angela's whereabouts remained a mystery. The town of Clinton would never be the same, and the night of April 4th would forever be etched in its memory as the night Angela Hammond disappeared. The last phone call Angela Hammond made to her fiancé, Rob Schaefer, on the night of April 4th, 1991, was a moment frozen in time, a prelude to a mystery that would haunt the town of Clinton, Missouri, for decades. It was a call that began like any other, with the casual intimacy of a couple planning their future together. But as the minutes ticked by, the tone shifted dramatically. Angela, who was at a payphone in the town's central square, began to describe a peculiar sight, a green Ford truck that kept circling the block. It was an older model, perhaps from the 1970s, with a fish mural on the rear window, distinctive in its detail. This truck, and its driver, a scruffy-looking man with a mustache and glasses, seemed out of place, and Angela's voice carried a note of unease as she relayed her observations to Rob. The significance of this phone call cannot be overstated. It was during this conversation that Angela's apprehension turned to terror. Rob, on the other end of the line, could only listen as Angela's voice was abruptly replaced by the sound of a struggle, followed by a haunting silence. The line went dead, and with it, a piece of Rob's world. This phone call was the last confirmed contact anyone had with Angela Hammond. It was a pivotal moment that turned a routine evening into a night of horror. The details Angela provided about the strange truck and its driver would become a cornerstone of the investigation, a lead that, despite its promise, has yet to bring closure to this day. The impact of this phone call on the case was profound. It provided a description of a suspect and a vehicle. It set the timeline of Angela's abduction, and it mobilized the community into action. Yet, it also left many questions unanswered. Questions that have lingered in the air of Clinton like a persistent fog. Rob Schaefer's life took a dramatic turn on the night of April 4, 1991, when his fiancée, Angela Hammond, was abducted while on a phone call with him. The call that began with casual conversation and shared laughter ended in a nightmare that Rob could never have anticipated. After the call was abruptly cut off, Rob, in a state of panic and confusion, rushed to his vehicle to drive to the payphone where Angela had been calling from. His actions in those moments were driven by a mix of fear, urgency, and the hope that he would find Angela safe. Unfortunately, his truck broke down en route, adding a layer of helplessness to the already distressing situation. In the aftermath of Angela's disappearance, Rob was consumed by the search for his beloved. He worked closely with law enforcement, provided them with all the information he could remember from their last conversation, and never stopped hoping for her safe return. The description of the suspicious truck Angela had given him during their call became a focal point of the investigation. Rob's life was irrevocably altered by that night. He had to grapple with the loss of the night Angela Hammond was abducted. The town of Clinton, Missouri, became the backdrop for a series of events that would haunt the community for decades. Eyewitness accounts, particularly regarding a suspicious truck, played a crucial role in the investigation. According to reports, Angela had mentioned to her fiancé, Rob Schaefer, during their last phone call, that a green Ford pickup truck had circled the block several times before parking by the phone booth where she was. The driver, described as a filthy, bearded man, used the phone next to her, returned to his truck, and then shone a flashlight on something within his vehicle. This truck, and its ominous presence, became etched into the narrative of Angela's disappearance. The credibility of these accounts is bolstered by the consistency of the details provided by different witnesses, including the specific make and color of the truck and the behavior of its driver. These descriptions have been critical in shaping the profile of the potential abductor and have been central to the police's appeals to the public for information. However, despite the seemingly solid leads provided by these eyewitnesses, the case remains unsolved. The impact of their accounts continues to be felt, as they offer the most tangible clues in a case shrouded in mystery. The truck, a piece of the puzzle that feels significant yet remains just out of reach, symbolizes the frustration and desperation that has marked the ongoing investigation. In the immediate aftermath of Angela Hammond's abduction, the Clinton Police Department sprang into action, marking the beginning of a decades-long search for answers. The first steps were critical, with officers canvassing the area where Angela was last seen and interviewing potential witnesses who might have seen something on that fateful night. The police followed up on the most tangible lead they had, the mysterious green Ford pickup truck that Angela had described to her fiancé during their last phone call. This vehicle, seen by Angela and other witnesses, quickly became a focal point of the investigation. The authorities released descriptions of the truck and the man Angela had described, hoping that members of the public might come forward with information. Despite these efforts, the initial leads did not materialize into a breakthrough. The police also investigated a ransom-style note given to them by an unnamed informant, which was posted on the same evening Angela was taken. However, the significance of this note in the context of Angela's disappearance remains unclear. As the case received national attention, the night Angela Hammond was abducted, a peculiar vehicle was etched into the memory of the town, a green Ford pickup truck from the 1960s or 1970s, distinctive for its age, color, and the notable mural on its rear windshield depicting a fish leaping out of the water. This truck, as described by Angela to her fiancé Rob Schaefer during their final phone call, and later corroborated by Rob's own sighting, became a key piece of evidence in the case. The truck wasn't just any vehicle. It was unique enough that it should have been identifiable to someone. It had a white top and damage to the rear fender, along with the mural, which was not a common feature. The rusted, old model stood out in the small town of Clinton, Missouri, and it became the focus of the early investigation. Police and volunteers scoured the area, looking for the truck that seemed to have vanished into the night as suddenly as it had appeared. Despite the distinct features of the truck, no one came forward with information that led to its location or the identity of its driver. The truck, and whoever was behind its wheel that night, remains a mystery, a silent witness to the events that unfolded. In the wake of Angela Hammond's sudden disappearance, the small town of Clinton, Missouri, became the epicenter of an extensive search operation. The community, bound by a collective sense of urgency and concern, rallied together in an effort to find Angela, who was 4 months pregnant at the time of her abduction. Immediately following her disappearance, local law enforcement, alongside volunteers, combed through the surrounding areas. Fields, forests, and buildings were meticulously searched, with the hope that Angela would be found safe. The community's involvement was profound. People from all walks of life came together, some taking time off work, others dedicating their free time to join the search parties. The local media played a crucial role, broadcasting Angela's story and keeping it in the public eye. Flyers with her picture were distributed far and wide, and roadblocks were set up in an attempt to gather any information from passersby that could lead to Angela or the mysterious green truck. Despite the tireless efforts of the community and the extensive coverage of the case, the search yielded no substantial leads. The spirit of the town, however, never wavered, and the people of Clinton continued to hold out hope for Angela's safe return. The disappearance of Angela Hammond not only shook the small town of Clinton, Missouri, but it also captured the attention of national media. The case was thrust into the spotlight, with several key developments that have kept the public both engaged and invested in finding the truth. At the time of her abduction, local media outlets were quick to report on the incident, spreading the word and appealing for any information that could lead to Angela's whereabouts. The case quickly escalated from a local news story to a national sensation, largely due to its mysterious and unsettling nature. One of the most significant boosts in media attention came when Angela's story was featured on the renowned television show Unsolved Mysteries. This not only amplified the case's reach but also brought forward numerous tips and leads, though none that have yet led to a resolution. The show's portrayal of the events of that fateful night in April 1991 has been pivotal in keeping the case in the public consciousness. Decades later, the media continues to play a crucial role in the case. Recent articles and reports have revisited the story, often on anniversaries of the disappearance, keeping Angela's memory alive and the hope for new information kindled. For instance, a Fox 2 report highlighted a potential clue that emerged, suggesting a case of mistaken identity may have been at the heart of Angela's abduction. Inside Edition also covered the case, noting the theory of mistaken identity and the ongoing quest for answers in a report that underscored the enduring mystery surrounding Angela's fate. Local news outlets, such as KCTV and KY3, have continued to follow up on the case, reporting on new leads and the community's efforts to find closure. The Daily Mail also revisited the case, discussing the chilling details and the impact it has had on the community in a detailed article. The media's role in Angela's case has been a double-edged sword. While it has undoubtedly helped keep the case active and encouraged the public to come forward with information, it has also led to widespread speculation and numerous unverified theories. The coverage has shaped public perception, painting a picture of a town haunted by an unsolved mystery and a family still seeking answers. As we continue to delve into the case, the media's influence cannot be understated. It has been instrumental in both aiding the investigation and, at times, complicating it with the spread of rumors and unconfirmed reports. Yet, the hope remains that continued coverage will one day lead to the breakthrough that Angela's family and the community of Clinton have been waiting for. Over the years, the mysterious disappearance of Angela Hammond has given rise to a plethora of theories and speculation, each attempting to make sense of the scant evidence and the haunting circumstances of that April night. Let's delve into some of the prevailing theories and weigh their credibility. Mistaken identity theory. One of the most discussed theories is that Angela was the victim of a mistaken identity. It's speculated that the abductor intended to target someone else and mistakenly took Angela instead. This theory is partly supported by reports that another woman in the area had been receiving threatening phone calls and that Angela might have fit the description of this woman. However, there is no concrete evidence to confirm this theory, and it remains one of the many unanswered questions in the case. Serial killer theory. Given the era and the modus operandi, some have speculated that Angela's abduction was the work of a serial killer passing through the area. This theory is bolstered by the fact that several other women disappeared under similar circumstances across the Midwest around the same time. Yet, without more direct evidence linking these cases, this remains speculative at best. Local criminal theory. Another theory suggests that someone from the local area, familiar with Angela and her routines, was responsible for her abduction. This theory leans on the idea that a local would have the knowledge and opportunity to plan and execute such a crime discreetly. However, despite extensive investigations, no local suspects have been definitively linked to the crime. Drug-related abduction. Some have theorized that Angela's abduction was related to drug activity in the area. While Clinton was not known as a hotbed for drug crime, the early 90s saw a rise in drug-related offenses across the country. This theory has not been substantiated by any evidence directly related to Angela or her personal life. The boyfriend theory. In many cases like Angela's, suspicion often falls on those closest to the victim. Some have speculated that her fiancé might have had a role in her disappearance. However, this theory has been largely discredited. He was cleared by law enforcement after passing a polygraph test and having his alibi confirmed. The witness theory. A less discussed but equally intriguing theory is that Angela may have witnessed a crime or some illicit activity and was abducted to silence her. This theory stems from the fact that she was on a payphone late at night, a scenario that could have placed her in the wrong place at the wrong time. However, like many theories in this case, there is no direct evidence to support this. The new life theory. Finally, there's the theory that Angela may have staged her own disappearance to start a new life elsewhere. This theory is often considered in long-term missing persons cases but seems unlikely given Angela's close relationship with her family and the fact that she was pregnant at the time of her disappearance. Each theory brings with it a set of questions, and none provide the conclusive evidence needed to solve the mystery of Angela Hammond's disappearance. The lack of definitive proof leaves the door open to endless speculation, and the truth remains as elusive as ever. The hope is that new information will emerge that can either substantiate or eliminate these theories, bringing closure to a case that has lingered in the minds of many for over 3 decades. In the realm of unsolved mysteries, it's not uncommon for the desperate search for answers to lead to the doorsteps of those who claim to have a sixth sense. The case of Angela Hammond is no exception. Over the years, several psychics have come forward, offering their insights in hopes of shedding light on Angela's whereabouts. Psychic leads. One psychic claimed to have visions of Angela being held in a 2-story wooden house located in a densely wooded area. They described a sense of despair and isolation surrounding her, suggesting that Angela might have been kept alive for some time after her abduction. This lead, like many psychic predictions, was difficult to verify and did not result in any breakthroughs. Skeptical reception. The involvement of psychics has often been met with skepticism by law enforcement. While some family members and invested parties are open to any possibility that could bring Angela home, police typically rely on tangible evidence. The psychic claims have not, as of yet, produced any actionable leads that have advanced the case. Media attention. Psychic involvement has, at times, brought additional media attention to Angela's case. Television shows and psychic detective programs have featured her story, with various psychics providing their take on the events of that fateful night. These episodes tend to draw in viewers and can reignite public interest in the case, but they also raise questions about the ethics and efficacy of using psychics in criminal investigations. Families' hope. For Angela's family, any avenue that might lead to answers is worth exploring. They have, at times, welcomed the assistance of psychics, hoping that one might provide the clue that cracks the case wide open. The emotional toll of not knowing what happened to Angela has been immense, and the family's openness to psychic input is a testament to their enduring hope and love for her. The psychic predictions have contributed to the continued interest in Angela's case, keeping her story alive in the public consciousness. While none have led to a resolution, the psychic's involvement has kept people talking, speculating, and searching, and in a case gone cold, sometimes that's all that can be asked for. The disappearance of Angela Hammond not only left an indelible mark on her loved ones but also sent shockwaves through the small town of Clinton, Missouri. This close-knit community, where neighbors knew each other by name and street doors were often left unlocked, was jolted into a new reality by the events of April 4, 1991. Shattered innocence. In the wake of Angela's abduction, the residents of Clinton were forced to confront the fact that such a heinous act could happen in their midst. The town's sense of security was shattered. Parents clutched their children a little tighter, and the shadows of evening brought a new sense of unease. The case served as a harrowing reminder that tragedy does not discriminate by zip code. Community mobilization. The community rallied together in an unprecedented display of solidarity. Volunteers organized search parties, plastered the town with flyers, and coordinated with law enforcement to scour the surrounding areas for any sign of Angela. Local businesses contributed to reward funds, and town meetings were held to discuss safety measures. It was a testament to the town's spirit and the collective desire to find Angela and bring her home. Long-term effects. The long-term psychological impact on Clinton's residents has been profound. An undercurrent of mistrust and fear lingered long after the initial shock had subsided. The case became a topic of hushed conversations and a cautionary tale told to children. For many, the disappearance of Angela Hammond was a loss of innocence, a stark introduction to the evils of the world. Cultural shift. The cultural fabric of Clinton shifted in the aftermath. The case prompted changes in local policies and a reevaluation of safety protocols. It became common for residents to be more vigilant, to report suspicious activities, and to take precautions that were once deemed unnecessary in such a small town. Enduring legacy. Angela's case remains a poignant part since Angela Hammond's disappearance in 1991. Technological advancements have revolutionized criminal investigations. If these modern tools were applied to Angela's case today, they could potentially provide new leads or even help crack the case wide open. DNA analysis. In the early 90s, DNA technology was in its infancy. Today, forensic analysis can detect genetic fingerprints from the most minute samples. If any physical evidence was collected from the scene or Angela's belongings, contemporary DNA techniques could yield new information, possibly identifying a suspect or confirming a person's presence at a crucial location. Digital forensics. The proliferation of digital devices has given rise to digital forensics. Investigators now have the ability to recover data from electronic devices that could provide clues about a person's whereabouts or association. If Angela's case had access to these tools, any relevant devices, even those belonging to potential witnesses or suspects, could be examined for hidden or deleted information. Social media and crowdsourcing. Social media platforms can spread information rapidly and widely. Crowdsourcing efforts can generate leads and tips that may not have been accessible through traditional means. Reinvigorating public interest in Angela's case through these platforms could unearth new eyewitnesses or evidence not previously considered. Geographic information systems. GIS technology allows for sophisticated mapping and analysis of geographical data. In the search for Angela, GIS could be used to map sightings, track the suspect's vehicle route, or analyze terrain to identify areas that may have been overlooked during initial searches. Enhanced surveillance and recognition technologies. Modern surveillance cameras offer much higher resolution than those of the early 90s, and facial recognition software can identify individuals in public spaces. While these technologies were not available at the time of Angela's disappearance, they could be instrumental if any old footage exists, or if similar incidents occur in the area. Public databases and information sharing. Law enforcement agencies now have access to extensive public databases and can share information across jurisdictions much more efficiently. Cold cases like Angela's can benefit from re-examination using these interconnected systems to find matches with evidence from other crimes. The internet has become a powerful tool in keeping cold cases, like Angela Hammond's, in the public eye. Internet sleuths and online communities have played a pivotal role in ensuring that Angela's story continues to garner attention, with the hope that one day it might be solved. Online sleuths. A new breed of detectives has emerged from the depths of the internet, armchair sleuths. These individuals, often with no formal investigative training, use online resources to dig into cold cases. They comb through public records, social media, and any available documents, piecing together information that might have been overlooked. For Angela's case, these sleuths have been instrumental in collating data, theorizing potential scenarios, and keeping the conversation going. Forums and discussion boards. Websites like Reddit, web sleuths, and numerous true crime forums have dedicated threads to Angela's disappearance. These platforms allow users from around the world to discuss the case, share theories, and provide moral support to each other and Angela's family. The collective effort of these communities often leads to a comprehensive examination of the case from multiple angles. Social media campaigns. Campaigns on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have been crucial in keeping Angela's story in the public domain. Hashtags and shares have the power to reach individuals who may hold key information but are unaware of the case's ongoing investigation. Social media also serves as a rallying point for anniversaries and events to commemorate Angela and keep her memory alive. Podcasts and YouTube channels. True crime podcasts and YouTube channels have brought renewed attention to Angela's case, reaching audiences that traditional media may not. These platforms often provide in-depth analyses and feature interviews with individuals connected to the case, offering new insights and perspectives. Collaboration with law enforcement. Some internet detectives go. Angela Hammond's disappearance left an indelible mark on her loved ones. Over the years, her family and friends have kept her memory alive, not only in their hearts but also by sharing their memories with the world, ensuring Angela is more than just a case number. Cherished memories. Family members reminisce about Angela's vibrant personality, her laughter, and the warmth she brought into their lives. They speak of her as a loving daughter, a caring friend, and someone who could light up a room with her presence. Friends recall her kindness, her sense of humor, and the dreams she had for the future, dreams that were tragically cut short. Quotes from loved ones. Angela was the kind of person who always thought about others before herself, says a childhood friend. Her disappearance left a void that can never be filled. Her mother reflects with sorrow. I remember her smile, how it could make even the worst days seem better, shares a former classmate. Keeping her memory alive. Angela's family has been steadfast in their efforts to keep her story in the public consciousness. They've organized vigils, participated in interviews, and worked with various organizations to spread awareness. They've also established scholarships in her name, celebrating her life by supporting the education of young people in their community. The painful anniversary. Each year, as the anniversary of Angela's disappearance approaches, her family and friends gather to honor her. They share stories, light candles, and hold on to the hope that someone, somewhere, might come forward with information that could provide answers. Continued advocacy. Angela's loved ones have become advocates for missing persons, using their voices to support others experiencing similar agony. They understand the importance of solidarity and the strength found in a community that stands together against the darkness of uncertainty. Angela Hammond's abduction is not an isolated incident. Over the years, there have been several cases with eerie similarities that send chills down the spine, reminding us of the fragility of safety and the prevalence of such crimes. Cases with parallels. The case of another young woman who vanished from a small town after a late-night encounter, leaving behind only a few scattered personal items. A series of disappearances in the region during the same time frame, which sparked theories of a possible serial offender operating in the area. Patterns and lessons. While each case is unique, certain patterns emerge that can provide critical insights for investigators and the public. These include the time of day most abductions occur, the profile of typical victims, and the methods used by perpetrators to lure or abduct their targets. Awareness of these patterns can lead to better preventive measures and more focused investigative approaches. The disappearance of Angela Hammond has left an open wound for those who knew and loved her. The emotional toll of such a loss is immeasurable and enduring, affecting every aspect of their lives. Endless grief. Angela's family and friends have been sentenced to a life of uncertainty. Birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries are marred by her absence and the unanswered questions surrounding her fate. The lack of closure means that the grieving process is never truly complete, and the pain remains as acute as it was on day one. The struggle for closure. The human need for closure is powerful, and without it, moving forward becomes a daily battle. Angela's loved ones find themselves in a limbo, unable to fully mourn or to hold on to hope. This emotional turmoil can lead to issues such as depression, anxiety, and complicated grief. The mystery of Angela Hammond's disappearance remains unsolved, a cold case that continues to perplex law enforcement and the community. Despite the passage of time, the case is not closed, and efforts to find answers persist. Current status. The case files are still active, with law enforcement reviewing Angela's case as new tips and technologies become available. There have been no definitive breaks in the case, but it's not considered dormant. New leads, however sparse, are still pursued. Ongoing efforts. Law enforcement agencies periodically release information seeking public assistance and reminding the community that the case is still open. Private investigators and volunteers occasionally step in to conduct their own inquiries, hoping fresh eyes might spot something previously missed. This case could be one tip away from a breakthrough. If you have any information, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, it could be the piece that solves the puzzle of Angela Hammond's disappearance. How you can help. Share this video to increase awareness. The more people who see Angela's story, the better the chances of someone coming forward with information. If you have any information, contact the appropriate authorities. Details on how to do so can usually be found in the video description or through a quick online search for the case. Angela Hammond's story is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of community vigilance. Her case has become a part of the true crime tapestry, a mystery that continues to captivate and horrify those who hear it. Keeping Angela's story alive is not just about satisfying curiosity, it's about justice and closure for Angela and her loved ones. By sharing and discussing these cases, we ensure they remain in the public consciousness, potentially leading to new information that could bring resolution. Remember, your voice can make a difference. Keep the conversation going, keep sharing, and keep the hope alive. Together, we can shine a light on the dark corners of these unsolved mysteries and, perhaps, find the answers we seek.